Kelly Rodriguez, editor of Refrigerated and Frozen Foods and host of From the Cold Corner, a podcast dedicated to the cold chain. Today, we're diving into the story behind My Mochi's Dubai Chocolate Style Mochi ice cream, a product that's been turning heads in the frozen aisle and recently earned recognition as one of RNFF's first place vote getter in our annual Best New Retail Products contest. I'm joined today by Bridget Wolfe, Chief Marketing Officer at My Mochi, to unpack everything from the initial concept to formulation, manufacturing, and what's next for the brand. Bridget, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you so much for having me. And thank you to all the voters.
Well, yeah, let's start at the beginning. Because before you can be obviously voted a best new retail product, you've got to start with the R&D and the formulation. Every successful product starts with a why. I'm curious, what sparked the idea for you all at My Mochi for the Dubai chocolate style My Mochi, and how did you go about uh, finding that consumer need and deciding to respond to it?
Absolutely. So my mochi is all about bringing joy to consumers. And if you haven't had mochi ice cream before, it's premium scoops of little scoops of premium ice cream wrapped in a soft, sweet dough. It's a handheld snack that you chew it. You actually bite through it through this multi-texture of the chewy dough and then the creamy ice cream. And having that context for us, it's always been about how we bring kind of a mochi experience to the consumer of something familiar, right? Ice cream is ubiquitous in the States, but mochi ice cream is different. And, it hails from Japan. And so there's something novel and exciting about this global exploration, but in something that I understand. And what we started to see is in flavors, we have tons across the board, from the staples of strawberry mango to some of our funkier flavors that we've developed along the way, and really seeing what the limits are of what we can put in the mochi ice cream. As we scan both what consumers are looking for, whether it's fruit trends, health trends, nostalgia trends, or global trends. In this case, it was a TikTok trend, and Dubai chocolate was storming the world. Someone actually mentioned to it. I will not take credit for the idea, and then we were like, "That's brilliant." You see it in one format, and like, why couldn't we do a My Mochi expression of Dubai chocolate? Folks I understand who have been following what Dubai chocolate is. It started in the Middle East. It is this pistachio kind of cream robed in chocolate with inclusions. For our case, we call it the Kadayif wheat. It has that crunch. So for My Mochi, again, it fit perfectly of a multi-sensorial, multi-texture. You can get a crunch in the cream. So how do we bring those elements into the ice cream? That was one ask. How do we bring an authentic flavor, and keeping with our all natural flavors and colors was really important. So for R&D, it was critical that they understood, okay, what is the basis of the expectation of what is Dubai chocolate? These elements of chocolate, the Kadayif wheat, and the pistachio cream. And then how do you bring it together in a way that really delights when you bite into it? So for us, it's we have cocoa in our mochi dough, so it's a chocolate dough. We have this rich pistachio ice cream. We included then extra chocolate bits inside for another boost. And then the traditional Kadayif wheat, which actually we had to import from Turkey. So there was a bit of a logistics of, can we get some samples? What does it look like? I will note, almost all of our products are gluten-free. This one is not, because we tried to do it with a gluten-free option and it just didn't delight the way when you want delicious, it wasn't doing it. So we went to the true Kadayif wheat, worked through that importing and getting those balances right. How much of the inclusion should be put into that, each piece when you bite into it, just to have really the amount of joy that we wanted to deliver and give a true experience to the reference point.
My Mochi's processing technology and manufacturing approach play in delivering some of these, particularly as we see more LTOs, seasonal flavors, things of that nature, that might require, just like you said, a special ingredient that might be really atypical for the brand.
And you mentioned this before, innovation is a team sport. There are a lot of functions. So this was about really every discipline coming to the table, from sales of what the forecast we thought it would be, to the manufacturing and which lines could be running, which streams of this, again, making sure we're safe with consumers, to our procurement, making sure that we had the right amount of ingredients and the inclusions for that volume. So it was really a collaborative effort across the board of making sure we can bring this to the line. And then on my side, how do we make sure consumers know about it when it hits the
Right.
shelves, or they can anticipate and look for it? So everyone was tasked with a role in this. And I'd love to highlight, you mentioned, is the visual. That's half of the joy of my mochi. Is really fun, not just to eat, but to look at. And every time you bite into one, I would say take the pause while you chew that first bite and take a look, because the colors are vibrant. They're as beautiful and as delicious as they are, eating, as they are looking at.
Right, right. So, and also along the visual lines, something else that was also really different for you all is, uh, my mochi has that purple packaging that's very recognizable, very eye-catching in the freezer case, and obviously packaging plays a huge role in all products, but certainly in food. Um, but you all went a different direction
Mhm.
specifically for this flavor. I'm wondering if you can kind of walk us through that decision. Was it just because this flavor was so unique? Is that something that you anticipate doing in the future? Kind of walk me through the thinking behind that, and how that packaging design came
Yeah.
about.
So I will say we love the purple. I love the purple. We say to people, and I say all the time, the simplest hook is go look for the purple box, right? It's the
Right.
easiest way for consumers to find us. So that purple is a really strong equity that we love. We can associate with it and find it. That said, we have started experimenting over the years with departing from colors. Our seasonal items that we do, we like to give a shout across the holidays and in the fall. So you'll see across our sugar cookie and our cool peppermint, our caramel apple, we've explored how does it look to differentiate it from the core line sometimes. And the Dubai chocolate we really
Right.
felt was special. I mean, it is, we've line priced it, but it is a more expensive product. It's a premium on top of our premium with all these ingredients we've put. We wanted to give that special experience across the board. We've talked about the visual, the ingredient integrity, the taste and texture experience, but then you have to kind of finish that bundle with the packaging. And we had a designer that was terrific in partnering with us of giving that new look, still making it elements of my mochi that we still want to have consumers recognize, but at the same time having something a little bit different. And it's a great learning for us, because it shows in some cases where do we want to push the envelope, and can we push it. And I think when consumers have enough excitement and interest in the SKU, they went hunting for this everywhere. And it's still out there. So you can
Right.
still find this. It's actually getting rolled out more nationally. So it is available.
What was the timeline like for development? How long of a process was it
We
all
went
for you all?
fast. We went fast. We did this, I think maybe soup to nuts, we were ready in 6 months. Um,
Wow.
Partly because we wanted to make sure that, was it a quick trend that we could help, or do we see something sustaining and we could set it up for success with some good retail partners, what we had started. And I think what's so important is, as you mentioned, we had buyers say to us, this is the first ice cream. Nobody's come to us with this. This is going to drive news in the aisle. And that's equally important. Our goal is not just to drive our business and give consumers more delight, but to help our retail partners drive their segments of the store, and continue expanding. And
Right.
for us, we really saw that opportunity. And to your point, we still see this continuing. And I'm a little bit grateful, not always for every Me Too out there, but the fact that there are so many different formats of Dubai chocolate still coming out. People are still discovering what this flavor profile is. It has a long runway. The interest in the pistachio Middle East and different just global flavors continues to grow. So we actually do see this as a potential to stay in our core for a while, and having that runway go. Yeah.
Where do you see kind of the next year or so um, for the product, and anything that you can tease us to look out for beyond 2026?
Yeah, I mean, sweet snacking for us is going to be our center of gravity and where we can bring joy in that kind of textural experience and really being true to flavors. That's really important to us. We are looking always at different forms and collaborations and what could be coming up. You know, consumers are uh, sometimes very consistent with their needs and sometimes surprise us. You know, we're seeing that evolution to nostalgia, so you'll see some things coming out around that. This summer is coming up, so that will be a big push, both for the Dubai chocolate as well as some others. And then hopefully next year we continue to sell that and grow that SKU. It's a really wonderful way to share some joy, have some joy for yourself.
Absolutely. Well, Bridget, thank you for giving us an inside look at the innovation going on in the frozen aisle, courtesy of My Mochi. And congratulations again on being named a best new retail product.
Thank you.
For more on this and all things cold chain, visit rffmag.com.